welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year! Today I'm decluttering my kitchen to get ready for 2024. So let's get started. As you can see, the first thing I did was load the dishwasher. I wanted to just clear off the counters, clear out the sink, and have a clean canvas to get started with. Next, I went down to the basement to pick up this plastic folding table. This was super helpful to pull everything out of the cabinets and not just rely on counter space. I was actually able to pull everything out at once and load it all onto this table and see everything at once and be able to organize it. Having more surface area, definitely recommend it. In the past, I've used a coffee table and I just drag a coffee table into the kitchen, but even then it wasn't quite enough space. This table was very helpful. I started decluttering with the area that I was most excited to declutter, and that is the seasoning cabinet. For some reason, this cabinet is just, it was overloaded, it was hard to find the seasonings that we wanted, and I was really excited to clean this cabinet out. The first thing I did was pull everything out just to be able to see it all at once. Next, I wiped the cabinet clean. This has not been done since we moved in a year ago, so it was really nice to be able to wipe the cabinet out. Then all I had to do was the decluttering and sorting. So the first thing I did was find anything that didn't belong in there. We had some medication. We keep our medication in the bathroom, so that did not need to be in the seasoning cabinet. And then I also refilled some of the seasonings that were getting empty. I had doubles of seasoning, so I would fill one of the seasonings up all the way and then put the smaller one up so that it wouldn't get used and we would just have one of them. And then I also put things in piles by category to help see how much of everything I had. I did have a lot of tea, and I already knew that I didn't want tea to be in a cabinet anymore and I wanted the tea to be in a drawer. So that's why I just set all the tea aside so I could organize that into the drawer when the drawer became available. Went ahead and put everything back and everything fit perfectly. There's so much more space in there. All the seasonings fit in the bottom shelf, and the middle shelf holds our oven mitts and bowl koozies and then the spray oil. Above that is the seasonings that we have too much of, like the larger seasonings that we use to refill the smaller seasoning jars. Next, I moved on to the junk drawer. I want to not have a junk drawer anymore. Most of the things that were in there don't really belong in the kitchen. After it was all clean, I was able to start putting the tea in here. This ended up being the tea and just like beverage drawer. It also has like hot chocolate and marshmallows and things like that. I moved on to the foil and like saran wrap drawer. I found that this was working fine for us and nothing really needed to be changed. I did move the juicer to like a little, I don't know what you call it, like the appliance kind of area. Yeah, besides that, this drawer didn't really need any help. This drawer used to hold towels and containers, and I wanted to have one drawer that was just for towels. Over Christmas and after getting married, we were gifted a lot of towels and like dish rags and whatnot, so I wanted one drawer that was just for towels. I thought that would make things a lot easier and it wouldn't be so stuffed, and so then that's what I did with this drawer, and the one below it is where I moved all containers to. Can't see what's going on down here very well, but this drawer used to hold baking things. It had like muffin tins and some casserole dishes. I did not use this drawer a lot, and I felt like I could put the things that I don't use as often in harder to reach areas, and this drawer is like prime real estate, I guess you could say, where like it's easily accessible. So I wanted to put things that I regularly access in there. Before, I was never going into this drawer. Like you can see, we had a cheese grater in there. We never grate cheese. I'm vegan, but we greatly kill it a couple times a year. So yeah, we could use this for containers that we're reaching for daily, and then move the other dishware that we don't reach for as often somewhere a little bit less accessible. That little bit less accessible area is underneath the oven. I know a lot of people use this space for like their baking dishes that they reach for every day. Like my parents keep their pots and pans in there that they use every day. Our oven, like I think this is like the warmer area, like the spot where you put food to keep it warm or something. It is so difficult to pull out. I think it's just like super greasy. When we moved into the house, this is the oven that was in the house when we moved in. It, like the entire house was covered in grease, and then it also had like dust and everything stuck into it. So I think this drawer, like the reason it doesn't pull out is because it's like the track is like caked in grease, the way that like all the ceiling fans and like above the cabinets and just everything was caked in grease. So I think maybe that's why it doesn't pull out as well. But yeah, I ended up putting like the casserole dishes and like muffin tins and stuff that we only use like maybe monthly down here. The only thing I really did with this cabinet was pull everything out and lower the shelves a little bit. These are IKEA cabinets, so you can just pull those little like nail things out of the sides and move them around and change the height of the shelves. So all I did is lower it a little bit so that the top shelf was more accessible. This corner cabinet is very hard to reach because it's so deep and it's just like an awkward shape. It does work really well for our like little countertop appliances. So this is where I ended up storing our food processor, blender, French press. This is another drawer that I was very excited to change. It used to have all of our cutting boards and baking sheets in it, and then it also had like utensils, a lot of utensils. So anytime someone was over and like needed a cutting board, they always thought this like was strange. I know my mom was like, why do you lay your cutting boards like flat in a drawer? Like, why don't you just like put them upright in a cabinet? I don't know. It's just, we moved in a year ago and I threw things wherever, and it's just how it ended up being. This one drawer was also really full of crumbs. I think some of the baking sheets go in with crumbs still on them or something, I don't know. So I ended up using this drawer only for utensils. It has been so nice doing that. This is where the cutting boards and the baking sheets went. I can also link this, I don't know what you would call it, like drawer organizer. It was on Amazon and I can link that for you. I think it comes in a pack of 2. Maybe you can get more, but we just have 2. And this is how the utensils ended up getting stored. I used this acrylic box thing that I was talking about earlier and put anything that had a blade in there. So that way when you're like rummaging around looking for the utensil that you need, you don't like stab your hand on this meat thermometer. So yeah, blades go in there. And this has been incredible to have it organized like this. This is so embarrassing. And that's why I'm like taking so long looking into it, but our silverware has been stored in just these random plastic boxes. I don't know, I would love to have an actual silverware organizer, but our silverware is just an awkward shape. The ones that I've tried, our silverware doesn't fit in because they're so like long and a little bit bulky. I don't know, but it does work. Like the system works, it just is ugly. I didn't really do a whole lot. I mostly just cleaned all this out, threw away the random little things that we had and didn't need, and put everything right back. I was so tired after doing all of that I actually ended up doing the pantry a separate day. This is the next day. It wasn't hard work, but it's just a lot of decisions. Like, I think it's tiring because you're just constantly making decisions about whether to keep something, where to keep it, all of that. I don't know. I've talked about not liking my pantry before, but I think it's like 2 feet deep. I've measured it. It's 2 feet deep and like 20 something inches across. It's very difficult to keep organized because I need like an extra shelf, or I need like, I don't know, a better system. It's just very difficult because there's such deep and tall shelves. This is actually the first time that I've been able to pull everything out of the shelves at once, like out of the entire pantry at once, and completely reorganize it. Every other time I've done this, I've done it like drawer by drawer, just because there's, or not drawers, but shelf by shelf, because there's just, it just holds so much. There's like not enough counter space to pull everything out at once. After I pulled everything out, I kind of just stood around and like looked at everything for a minute because I just did not even know where to begin. And honestly, I did not want to do this the day that I did it. I needed to get it done. This table wasn't even big enough to like move things around because I wanted to like categorize things. Yeah, I had to like move some things off to the side to make space so I could start categorizing. I'm actually very proud of myself that I didn't find a single thing in the pantry that was expired. I found a few things that were getting close to expiring, and we did get those products used up. So that's very nice, because usually when I do something like this, I find a bunch of expired food. I also found a lot of things that I didn't know that I had though, and was able to make dinner this night out of things that I didn't even know I had in my pantry. The way that I ended up organizing things was one basket was completely full of nuts and seeds. As a vegan, I eat a lot of nuts and seeds, so I had a lot more than I thought I did, but I was able to fill an entire basket. And then I also did 2 baskets full of baking things. So one of the baskets was like baking soda, baking powder, vanilla, cocoa powder, those kinds of things. And then the second basket baking things was like chocolate chips, cranberries, cornstarch, and like powdered sugar, those sorts of like bigger items. And then those went up on the top shelf with my recipe book. So when I need those items, I typically need multiple, so I can just pull the entire basket out. I did another basket with all of the crackers, and another basket that just had all snacks. then this bottom shelf is where I put all of the canned goods. I've always put all the canned goods in the bottom shelf, and I create rows. So one row is all beans, one row is all vegetables, and one row is all like home canned things, which is mostly like pickles. I have some, yeah, I think it's mostly pickles. One last Amazon find is this wide mouth funnel. This is super useful if you do a lot of decanting like I do, if you put your rice and those sorts of things into other containers. It's super nice to have a wide mouth funnel because a standard funnel, the rice and like dried beans and things like that will get stuck. Even like I use this for cocoa powder. You can use it for coffee grounds, coffee beans, whatever. It's super helpful, so I will also link that. I'm decanting. I think this is a 20-pound bag of rice. It usually sits above our refrigerator and it's kind of difficult to get to. So I decided to use all of the big jars that I had left over, put all this rice into those containers, and then put the full containers up above the fridge. That way, when we run out of rice later, instead of pulling that big bag down from above the fridge and refilling a jar, I could just grab a jar and put the full jar into the pantry and I don't have to deal with the big bag. Also, I think it's going to keep things sealed a little bit better because the bag isn't resealable, so the containers will like keep them a bit fresher. That is all for today's video. In total, I think I got rid of about 2 garbage bags full of things. I just want to let you know that on my Patreon, I have a journaling community for 2024. It's a daily journaling challenge where you get a prompt every single day to help guide you through the year and your goals. Every month has a theme like mindfulness, gratitude, finances, and things like that. So I hope to see you over there. That is all that I have for today. I love you.
Shine the day. You never ever fly away, not for long.